Hey everyone, welcome back to Hold Fast Moto. We are riding over to the lady's house. Gonna go hang out with her. I worked last night / this morning, so I took a little nap, got 3 hours of sleep in, and now we're gonna ride over there. So, big thing, new handlebars. We have the LA Choppers hammerhead bars. Motorcycle. And they are pretty sweet. These bars, they're supposed to mimic T-bars. They got that kind of upright position here. They're higher up. They're a 12-inch bar. To be specific, it's the LA Choppers Hammerhead T-bars 12-inch rise. Now, I went through and looked at a couple different things. I liked the T-bar setup, and honestly, the reason I went with these ones was one, price point. They're a pretty good price for what you're getting, and two, you don't have to cut anything, and I can see my dash, I can see my gauges without doing any kind of major changes to the bike. I can see my gauges perfectly fine. I can see the screen, which doesn't really, I guess, matter to me as much. I more care about the gauges. Screen I never really use, so slow round turn. But I wanted something different, because when you get a bike, like, one of the best things to make it a little more tailored to you and get a whole different feel is changing out your bars. And I'll tell you what, it feels like a completely different bike. It's way more responsive. It feels like it kind of just dips and dives a lot more comfortably. The comfort is really cool. You'd think that your shoulders being up high would be a little uncomfortable, but it's actually the opposite. Also, I think it looks fantastic. I feel so cool. And I just feel cool. And I feel good. Oh yeah. Gosh, I love motorcycles. Anywho, LA Choppers is actually out of this one on their website, so I had to order them from JP Cycles, and came in about a week. So the main thing was, like, I have never worked on a bike with Harley Davidson bars or a Harley Davidson bike. I've always had other bikes where the wires are not internally wired, but for the Harleys, they all go through here. And that is a pain in the butt. It was worth it, but I'd never kind of really done anything major to this bike since I've gotten it. So obviously, anytime you have a newer bike, or a new bike to you, it's nerve-wracking when you want to go and try and wrench on it a little bit. And this isn't anything crazy. It isn't engine work, it's just handlebars. But because there's an electrical aspect to it, it always kind of gives me a little bit of heebie-jeebies. But obviously it turned out fine, or if it didn't, then we'll find out shortly. Getting the bars or the wires out of the stock bars was pretty simple, because the stock bars on the Harley, they're very flowy. There's not a whole lot of curves. These are a different story. These freaking angles here where it goes up and then down and then around, like, trying to thread wire through there was just a nightmare. It took me like hours, and I'm not joking, like, oh yeah, it was a couple hours. It was hours to try and get the wires in. So what I did is I basically took a shoestring, put a bolt at the end of it, and then threaded that through the bars, and then taped, sounds strange, but weed whacker cable to the end, and then pulled that through so I could attach that to the electric wire and then thread that through. So I had something a little bit more sturdy to pull through. But again, you have like these 90-degree angles and 90-degree plus angles that are just like killer, dude. Also to mention, when they make bars like this, they don't like smooth out the inside where they weld. So the inside is like kind of sharp and jagged. So if you're just getting frustrated and you're just trying to yank on it and yank the shit out of it, motorcycle, it ain't gonna work good, because you can sometimes literally cut your wires because you just pulled too hard. And yeah, so it was a lot of just like nervous pulling and tucking and wiggling. And the right side was way more difficult. The left side was actually not too terrible, but the right was bad because you have the cables that go from like the toggles here, and then you have the throttle wire, or throttle by fly-by-wire, whatever it is. I'm not too good on that aspect of what the heck I'm talking about, but you basically have, motorcycle, you have two wires that go through the right bar, so there's a whole lot less real estate, and it is just such a freaking pain to try and smooth that out. Like, it took forever to try and get it through there, and literally right when I was about to give up is when it worked out. So I was so happy that it did. After that, I mean, the good thing about this, like I said, these are 12-inch bars. I am 6'1". Your boy's running around 225, sometimes a little heavier, but for me, these height feel pretty darn good. I'm not like overly stretched. They're comfortable. They're at a good height where you can kind of just push in and kind of dip into it when you need to. They're responsive. I also put new grips on here because changing out the bars on the stock Harley bears, they're all just kind of glued onto it. So I was like, yeah, we're just gonna put some new grips on there. So shout out to Harley Davidson Huntington Beach. They had these in stock the same day. So I went and picked them up. Another reason I chose a 12-inch is because you don't have to extend your cables. So this is all stock cables from the Harley, which is fantastic because I didn't want to do a whole lot of electrical stuff. I am not savvy with all that kind of stuff. I'm savvy with like the bare freaking minimum. I did not want to do anything. I'll go by you, sorry. I didn't want to do anything excessive. So that's why we went with the 12s. 14s look good too. I think 16s would be a little too much, but I like that the 12s, they tuck right behind the fairing. I feel a little bit more skinny than I did with the stock bars, so it just feels more compact. You actually get a little bit more wind blocking from the fairing when your hands are like this. But I really just like the aesthetic. It looks good. I like this little like point up hammerhead tip thing. Just gives it a little extra flair, a little spice. We all need a little spice in our life. But the grips feel great, the position feels great. I did put the bars a little more forward the first time I had it, and I just realized I was just way too forward on the bars. Like my forearms were cramping, I just didn't feel as comfortable. I pulled them back a little bit, and they feel pretty good right now. And I mean, that's the thing, is like, now that I worked on it and I took this thing apart in the dash, like the fear of like working on the bike is gone. Well, at least for the handlebars at least. So it's like, I don't feel as nervous or scared to take them apart and like fix things and tailor it if it does need to be fixed. But right now, it feels good. Hope I didn't have my blinker on the whole time. They're back just a teeny bit, but I wanted to kind of keep them straight with the forks, just for, again, the aesthetic. My whole thing is I want something to look good, but I want it to be functional. If it's not functional and it looks good, then what's the point of it? You know? If you get the best of both worlds, that's great. Can't tell you, man. Riding motorcycles is like the best thing ever. It's like being a 5-year-old kid riding for the first time on your bike. Oh man. Gosh, I love this. Anywho, these bars come in chrome and they come in black, but I kind of want to put a little more black on the bike. I think it looks good because the fairing's all black on the inside. I just wanted to go with black, so we went with black. The next thing I'm actually gonna do is I need to go soon. I'm gonna ride down to Saddlemen. They have their production company down here in Compton, Long Beach. And I actually called them and talked to them. They said that I could come down, try on a couple different seats and see how I feel, and because I'm looking to get a new seat for this too. So we're gonna do that soon, because I wanted the bars on before I went and got a new seat. I'm basically looking between the Saddlemen Slim and the Step Up. The Step Up, from what I heard, pushes you up a little bit further. use the bumpy road. This one is always terrible, but it locks you in kind of more like a Sportster kind of sport bike. So I want to see how they feel with these bars on it before I made any decisions. But yeah, not too shabby for some bars and a couple like hours of swearing at myself in the garage, trying to get these bars to work appropriately. Motorcycle. Friends everywhere. Well, that's pretty much it. They feel great. I'll probably mess around with them a little bit more, see if I get the positioning a little bit better. But as of right now, they feel pretty good, so I think we're going to be keeping them right here for the time being. Like I said, it just feels more comfortable like filtering lanes when you go through stuff when your bars are a little higher and tighter. I'm not like down low where I feel like I'm going to run in anyone's mirrors. But this is just the beginning. There's lots of things that I want to do to the bike, as everyone does to their motorcycle. But I was going to start with the handlebars and the seats, and we're going to enjoy that for a little bit. But that's it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys got questions about the bars, I'll answer them to my best of my ability, and we'll kind of just go from there. Until then, I will talk to y'all later. Deuces. Hope this was on. Yeah, it was. Yay!